Hello.
Hi there.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Frontend Coffee Break, a podcast where we just take a moment to reflect, sit down, take a cup of coffee, cold ice, tea, or any of your favorite beverages, and enjoy a relaxing moment talking about something that we love with passion, which is front-end development in general. Today, as always, Mr. Ricardo Torres. Hello.
Hello, Tuja. No coffee, no hot beverages. It's too hot in Barcelona, so just, some water or something. What are you having today?
Well, this is same as you. I'm behind a fan and cold drink.
Cold soda,
with-
cold pop.
Yes, cold soda. It's still caffeinated, but well, it's taking the coffee or the caffeine in a different format. One that's definitely fresher, as you say. It's becoming a little bit hot. Not too hot to be uncomfortable, but yes.
Fun fact, now you say coffee and cold. In South Korea, they love ice Americano, and they call it like that. They call it ice Americano, and they love just a long shot of coffee with ice, and they even drink it during like snowy winters. You go in the snowy winters, and they are ordering ice Americano. They're crazy. I love them. Shout out to Korea.
I mean, I would eat ice cream in winter as well.
Oh, you would? But okay.
Yes,
all right.
I do. Anywho, speaking about this, I mean, you can see that the Koreans have passion for this ice americano. And speaking of passion and fire and all these things that we feel about certain things, today we are going to be talking about something like that. It's what fuels the fire of a front-end developer. So that's the thing that we're going to discuss today. What motivates us, at least you and I, share a little bit of experience of what makes us love front-end development above other type of job, perhaps.
Yeah, I think we need to first get the elephant in the room. Of course, we all work for money. So money will be not the topic of discussion. We assume that you're already making enough money to sustain yourself or your family, and you're happy enough with your, let's say, cash compensation. We're going beyond the obvious today.
Yeah. So this is not in game. I mean, it's not the best paid job that you can get in the world. That's true. But it's not about putting aside the money. What makes us wake up in the morning and say, "Hey, I'm going to do a little bit of front end." Do you want to begin, or I can begin telling you
Go
a
ahead,
bit of
man.
my story?
Tell me the old story, the old developer story.
The old developers, yeah, well, a little bit. When I first starting this, I think that I naturally fell into front end of all the different things that you can do in computer engineering. I studied system computer engineering. Would be the translation of the career that I studied. And you had a lot of things. You learned to do a little bit of everything so that you can choose the direction that you wanted to go. And I always thought that I loved when I worked on things that were very visual. I loved when you were coding something and you could see immediate results. And this is something that I say that why do I do front end? Because I love instant gratification of the work that I do. And with front end, in a way, you can quickly build something that you can, see, interact, let's say touch, that you can interact immediately with. It's not just numbers or results or things that appear, but it's like an interface that you can interact with. Back when I was working in the career, I remember that I loved, for example, coding in general. It was very nice. I enjoyed quite a bit. But I enjoyed, when I coded, I enjoyed working, for example, with Visual Basic back then. And the reason I liked it is because you could quickly build something, an interface that you can interact. I worked before that. As a teenager, I did work creating some code for myself in my Commodore 64 using BASIC, and the interfaces were text interfaces, and that was nice. But the ability of building something so fast with something like Visual Basic for me was like, I love this. And eventually I ended up in UX, in multimedia, and eventually I discovered web development, and it's like, this is my thing. I love doing web development. I love the possibility of creating something and quickly, or at least for me, the sensation that I have, you would see a result.
Yeah, you you hit the nail, man. I remember, I don't know, it was maybe 16, 17 when I was running a tutorial on how to create an HTML page, like, opening Notepad and writing. If you write the B tag, it's a strong font, and I was like you, like starstruck. Like, wait a minute, so I just add these sort of things in here, I save, and it's already like live. I mean, and then back then it was GeoCities. You could just copy and paste HTML, and you would see it live. I'm like, I have a website with just 3 or 4 lines. What is going on here? So I think that that's also the moment where I said, okay, frontend is super cool. And surely everybody has done backend, and we've dabbled between back and forth. But I think, yes, seeing like the UI, seeing things like you change something in a CSS and then you see immediately in the UI reflected, I think that's very motivating rather than, doing backend stuff that nobody like. Of course, I don't want to like underrate what the backend's doing, of course. Like, and I've done backend in my past, so definitely we need them. Everybody needs them, but people don't see it. Like, I mean, like where users, they just see the UI, the UX, and they say, oh, this site is beautiful or works fantastically or it's responsive, whatever it is, right? And you're responsible for it, and I feel some sort of proudness that you say, hey, this form or this page is being looked at by thousands every month or millions, right? So that's cool.
And I think that this is something that potentially, in development, there's a joy with bringing things that you do to life, and there's different ways that you can get this joy of creation. For example, creating. I would say, I remember, I do like it, creating beautiful code, let's say, or elegant code. That does bring me pride. But more than that, for me, is as we just mentioned, the creation from zero to something that is visual, something that you can say, "Hey, mom, look, I did this." With the phone, even right now nowadays, or the computer, it's super nice to be able to say these kind of things and to see the results so impactful. And it's, as they always say in this, even if the backend is the best backend ever, if the front end is really not good, the client is going to think that it's shit. Like, it's like, oh, this doesn't work. Even if the backend is the best backend ever, if the front end breaks or something, because it causes a lot of impact. So this is it. This is part of the reason that I.
So immediate gratification, and second, like creativity, right? Because I think maybe if you talk to other people, they think that maybe like, I don't know, working in IT is very like mundane, or working like in a how do you say this? Like a factory where you just assemble in bits and pieces, right? It's always the same thing. But in here, no, you are doing creative work, so that's also very motivating. That it's not, and you see it when you have some tasks in a sprint or in a month. Oh man, this is like very tedious work. Everything is like drilled down to me, and I have to put this thing there, and I have no freedom to do anything. That's boring. You want to have the freedom to create your own, element in the UI and explore. So yeah.
And this is one of my passions in my work, although I don't do it that often, is UX.
Mm-hmm.
I have a passion for UX. I've always had it from very early in my career. I couldn't dedicate myself to it. I don't know right now if I would have been completely happy about it. I do know that I love UX. I love interfaces. I love creating these kind of things. And yeah, the front end allows me to, besides code creation, they allow me to explore this more creative part on how to build interfaces. When you see an interface, what works, interactions, how to create these interactions. And once again, they're fast enough to create that you can immediately get this gratification.
Yeah, and even if you are like a front-end developer, you always are involved with UX. Like, the designer comes to you and gives you like a Figma file. You can also like propose things, how this will interact, when you click a button, will it transition to make it more smooth? Will it have visual cues to indicate that something is happening? So these things maybe designers don't think about, and you as a front-ender know this stuff. So definitely you're working UI and UX, and that's very cool.
And this is, for example, as you mentioned, and there's things that people have worked on that create these fantastic animations that it's simple enough to work. There's frameworks that people create. There's this love that you can get from the different options that you have to build stuff in front end. So it's sort of like one of the things that motivates me, at least. It's also the endless, let's say, but the endless possibility of all the amazing things that are out there that you can work with, all the tools, the frameworks.
You said it two
stack.
times, the keyword, you said it twice, frameworks. Are you excited to be a front ender because there are new frameworks every day, or what's going on?
Well, as I said, I'm happy to see that work that people has done in the past. They've built this framework, they've built these tools, and then they put it out in the world. This is a shout out to Chorizo JS.
Wow, is that an NPM package?
I think that this is something a story that Raul mentioned some time ago. A friend of ours, a colleague of ours, and he was saying that basically there's they made JavaScript npm package of everything, and this one I think it was called Chorizo JS. But the thing is that there's people building on a lot of things. There are people building things like frameworks, and I am excited to try the frameworks when they come out. Whether I like them or not, it's always exciting to see the things that they can be done. Personally, as you know, I'm passionate for Svelte. I think it's as a framework one of the best things that I've worked with. I love building with it. I love because just it follows the philosophy that I have. It's simple and it is simple. It's very straightforward, and you can create interfaces and websites super easily. How about you?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So can we agree that what motivates us is trying out new stuff, like whatever, new framework developed, new framework called Chucho.js. It motivates us to, oh, there's a new thing on the blog, new kid that's okay, it's happening now. Is it cool? Can we just try it out? Does it solve any problems that we had in the past? Does it make our lives easier? Right. So definitely I think it's interesting to try these things out, even if we then go back to vanilla because we love vanilla.
Yes.
Or this framework doesn't solve our use cases. I think it's fun. It's fun to like be always on the lookout for new stuff, even if the framework is maybe it's like I don't know. Now Chrome delivers like this, scroll different animations or something new on this quarter. So that's exciting to see. Hey, the web is moving. It's a living organism and it's not stuck like maybe you're coding like I don't know. I don't want to say Java or something. You're stuck in that version for 10 years, but actually every quarter, every year, you will have new features that you can implement into your UI.
So this would be precisely one of the greatest things about frontend as well. Frontend development is so dynamic that you have new stuff, and part of the reason that we started the podcast originally back then in the company, the internal podcast that evolved into this, was because they were the internal channel that we had, were sharing every single week so much information that we said, hey, let's talk about this, make a summary of the things that have come out. And we had material, and we still have material every single week if we want to, because there's so many things happening. And you don't not only get this, the innovation, you don't not only get the new tools, you don't not only get these things that you can work with, but you also get the passion. If you're a developer, you also get to do well developing, especially if you're working with JavaScript or any TypeScript, God forbid, or CSS. The thing is that you get to work with code, and you get the same feeling if you love coding to, for example, fixing bugs or just creating perfect canvases.
Yes, you started me with calling that ship, God forbid. You got me there. Question. So if we move to, sorry. Oh my goodness. TypeScript, we love that. We love TypeScript. So in terms of like work itself, like, do you enjoy more when it comes to working on products, or do you enjoy more of a like consultancy slash agency where maybe every few months you can start a new project for a new client, or again working on a single product? Let's say you're working for Twitch, right? And you're a developer in Twitch, you will be working on the Twitch platform all day in and out for years. What's your preference?
I think that I've myself learned to appreciate both. I love the idea of working on of changing projects from time to time, especially if they have different tech stacks, if they have different things they're innovating differently. Because I feel that you are learning new things. You are not getting stuck. Well, not that you're not getting stuck, but it's like I love learning new stuff. I love trying out new things and moving from different projects every other month, not every other months, but every few months or constantly. I like it. I like that idea. But then again, there's also so I appreciate if I'm doing that. And sometimes I need to do that. But then you have the other thing that you work in a product for so long that you see it grow. You start from its beginning, and you make it become bigger, bigger, better, better. And there's always something that you can do, whether it's improving performance or to add I don't know, a new feature. I don't know. But for example, in your case, you've been working quite a bit on one project. What is your feeling about that? Do you like it? Would you like to move?
So it's interesting because I was going to say that I like more the sort of like let's say agency approach. In the beginning of my career, I used to do like projects that were like just 3 weeks. It was like a very small websites, like we doing like templating some sort of CMS very quickly, and we would just ship websites in 3 or 4 weeks, and that was very interesting because every month you could like try something new. Like, okay, now gulp is deprecated. Let's go to whatever the next thing. Or before we had this thing, now we tried this thing, a new build system. So I had the possibility to iterate and try different things to be faster and be more productive. I also tried product, and granted, even though now I'm working on a sort of agency, I don't know, consultancy sort of way, I have been working in the same application for 7 years, 8 years. I don't dislike it. I mean, I like long-term commitment where you can actually like look in the future and say, okay, how can we improve this platform? How can we make it like actual decisions where, yes, this will matter in 5 years, in 4 years? Because when you think like short term, you just ship it and you're done, right? I mean, it's okay. I mean, whatever. But when you're talking long term, okay, we need to account for lots of things. Like the code needs to be very well like structured. Think about maintenance. Think about when you re-encounter your code in 6 years, what's going to happen here? And I'm happy to see that. The other day I was looking at a defect, and then I was checking the code base, and I said, "Oh man, this part of the component is very well done." And I looked at I looked at the Git blame, and it was me. I was like, "Oh my goodness," because I wanted to like give kudos to the team. I wanted to go to the Slack and say, I don't know, whoever said my colleague said, "Hey, this was very well done." And I checked the Git, and it was me. And I was like, okay, then kudos past me. So yeah.
For me, it happens the opposite. It's like, who the heck did?
No.
What the heck were they thinking of? It's me.
It also happens. I mean, when you're talking about the long term, 6 years, sure, you find things, but yeah, I like both honestly, but I like the possibility of changing. If I were working on a single company where it's only one product and there's no way to change, okay, you can change maybe the visions and maybe now you move from the shopping cart to the product listing, but it's the same thing. I don't think I would love that. I want to be able to move if I want to.
Yeah, but here, for example, you're having there's two aspects to this. It's the possibility of creating new things constantly, or the possibility of perfectioning what you've already created. Because sometimes when you finish a product, you say, oof, it is not the best that I could have done. I could have done something different. Maybe you apply this to the next product, but the original one has the issue. Like, for example, I don't know, font icons. It's like, I should have used font icons. I wish I could go back and make it even better using font icons because it would allow me to blah, blah, blah. And then you apply it to the new product. So that's one of the things that I can see one way or the other. Is like you have the possibility of doing new things, trying new things, or the possibility of perfecting what you have. I guess that there's and there's also the working long term. You're not only working on development, but you're also working on that product wherever it is. If you're long term, and you're doing other stuff that is not just development, but maybe trying to figure out new things to do with it. Trying to
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and also like the client relationship is way different. No, when you are engaging with a 3 week, you meet the person, maybe you onboard them in the platform, and then goodbye, you're done. But on a multi-year commitment, you definitely build a rapport with the client, and then you can think, okay, how can we move this forward? What can we add to the platform? What's missing? And then you can influence like, I don't know, user stories. Now, let's say you've been 6 years in this account, and then you say, oh, maybe it's time to rethink performance, rethink accessibility, how we've done things in the past don't work anymore. And as you said before, there are things that you can improve in the long term or like that require more than one month. Like there's changes that you need to think through because you need to go to designers or third-party consultants, and you need to actually spend lots of time and money. And that's also interesting. So as long as you're not bored, I think that's fine.
And if you're bored, it's okay sometimes, as long as it's not a constant thing, because boredom does bring creativity in the picture. If you're bored, you say, well, I'm going to look for something new. Oh, I'm going to try to change this to try this out. So boredom is not that bad, I can say. And how about, you've talked about career choices regarding working on an agency, working on a product, this and that. But once you're inside a company, there's other things that could motivate you, like growth inside the company, maybe to become something different from just a developer to a leader or a mentor or something like this. How about this?
Yeah, I
What
think
does this?
we've talked in the past in this podcast, no? Where do you go? You're a front-end developer. Can you go to a front-end lead? What does it mean to be a front-end lead? What sort of accountabilities do you have? And that's fulfilling. At least for me, it's nice to have people that you can mentor and see them growth and help them in their careers. Some people don't like that, and that's respectfully. But what about you? Do you like being a front-end lead, Chucho?
I do. But more than that, I like to be a more of a mentor. This is something that I've in my early career, I did a lot of teaching, all grades from 6-year-olds to 20 plus. Yeah, and every single one of them, every single age had something different, and it was amazing. And nowadays, it's something that I've always known that I want to do, that I want to keep on mentoring or teaching or training. And right now, as a lead, that's one of the satisfactions that I get. And I guess that this could be as front end, back end, whatever lead, but the possibility of having the opportunity of helping others grow, whether just sitting down with them and explaining them, oh, this could be done like this because of that. Oh, you should have changed it here. On trying to create, I try to create environments to share information, share knowledge. Um, so I do enjoy that part. I think that this is something that I like about being, and even if I wasn't a lead officially, I would still be involved in mentoring other people or helping other people out because I like it and it comes out. I think that it comes out naturally.
It does. I
So
mean, you don't have to be the front lead in a team to actually help out your colleagues and help them grow. If you are a regular developer and you have a junior developer, you can coach them on their pull requests. You can coach them on whatever topic. And I think that's something maybe people outside of the IT world don't think about. They think that we're coding all day, all night. And in fact, as you grow more senior, you have more leadership like expectations or accountabilities, and that's nice and expected that you coach them, the junior developers. So definitely. So on that topic, we can jump to, like, we haven't talked about people yet. Like, because so far all we said is like individual things that you do or you like, but how important for you it is to have, how to phrase it, like, I want to say good colleagues, but like how important is the team around you?
for me, I think it's very important. I've had the chance to work in a lot of companies, not a lot, but I think since in the last 19 years, I've been working in 4 companies. I think I've had 4 different companies, and one of the things that has motivated me the most in each one of them is definitely the people. For me, it is very important to work with people that I admire. Um, it doesn't have to be that doesn't have to be that they are high leveled, graded, knowledge wise, but people that I admire the way that they handle themselves, the culture that they have, the love and the passion for front end. It has been motivating for me at times where I didn't really like the work that I was doing. I still loved the idea of going to the office back pre-COVID, going to the office because I knew that I was going to meet up with people that I loved working with. So for me, the people is a big plus, especially people that share a passion or share a love for front end. How about
So
you?
mostly like your inner circle when it comes to, I mean, we're not talking about, okay, yeah, I will follow the CEO to the ends of hell, but rather like your immediate team or your immediate colleagues
Yes.
that are actually made the day for you. Like you go to the office and
Yes.
you meet with them, you can brainstorm with them, and sometimes not even like in the same project. And it's, yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm definitely with you. Like if you work alone, that's boring. It's not fun to work alone, and definitely the team makes a huge difference. Like when you think about, okay, I'm going to change projects, I'm going to change accounts, or even companies, you say, oh boy, I'm leaving behind a bunch of good people. I mean,
Yes.
how is the next project or the next company, is it going to have the same amount of people? And sometimes it's a deal breaker. Sometimes you go there, it's a toxic environment, or whatever it is, and you really don't enjoy working with certain type of people, so you have to move on or change. Yeah, it's important to me.
Of course, there's people that might enjoy working alone, which is completely valid, especially more introverted people. But in my case, and I guess in yours as well, is the people make the difference. The people, for me, if I have people that I've always said in many times on certain companies that I've been with, and Cognizant Aesthetic is one of them, that I love working with very competent people. I've met people that have just pushed me to become even better because of admiration, or just because, like, hey, I want to be like this person. I think that they are they're doing something that I want for myself, and I push myself harder to achieve it. And we've had through the time that I mean, I've been in the company for 10 plus years. I don't know, how long have you been?
Almost 8.
Almost say, oh my goodness. What I'm saying is that in all this time I've seen, and this is normal, people come and go through the company, that it's always been sad to see them go. Because you make a connection, especially you admire the work that they've done, you've learned a lot, and you appreciate them as person, and as a developer. And it's part of life. And but I have to say that it is also part of the great things about being a developer in general terms. For me, working with people
But it's
that are
normal, no? I mean, we
amazing.
spend so much time of our
Have a good one.
lives at
Bye bye.
work, right? You spend 8 hours every day at work, be it remote, be it at the office, doesn't really matter. You're communicating with people, like, 8 hours a day. If you're late, maybe you have more meetings than the others, but definitely people is an influential factor. Like, if you are moved into an account or a project where people are not great, they're not friendly, they are maybe rude. I mean, we all have seen this, like colleagues that are not well, I'm not talking about having like all senior developers, not like that. The thing you mentioned at the beginning, it doesn't have to be like very senior people. It's like people
No.
that have motivation. It could be a junior that you see the hunger to learn more, and then that's fun to work around, and they want to
Yes.
learn
Yes.
more. So definitely, we're not talking about seniority, but rather like good, friendly people that want to learn, that share the passion, and that's more important than maybe the stack or the project itself.
And I have to say that one of the fantastic things about Frontend in particular, and people, is that everyone loves something different. For example, as I mentioned, I love UX, and I will talk about it and bring it in conversations wherever I want. We have Raul that loves, I don't know why, regular expressions. Like, what the heck with that? And he brings and talks and teaches about it. And there's other people that are going to love CSS. They're going to love animations, and you're going to learn from them. And they're going to micro frontends. And there's so many topics, and people love them, and they're going to talk about it. And I've learned so much about different new front-end things because of people that love these different things. And when you start to interact with them, you learn because of I think that that's one of the beautiful things about front-end. One of the things that motivates us so much in the front-end that you can do. There's so many things that appear that it's nice to get to know people so that they can teach you, or you can learn from them what they love about front-end.
Yeah, I think it's a nice way to maybe to finish the episode, like to think through again how much impact a colleague can do, right? I mean, a teammate. I mean, sometimes companies might look at the bottom line and revenues and whatever margins, but really, like if you remove or you let go some certain like key players in your organization, it will make a huge impact on morale, motivation, whatever it is, right? So definitely, we as a company, we need to be very careful how to treat people, and people are an asset. So definitely, yeah, let's push on that.
And just for my closing remark, it's like I feel very fortunate about throughout my entire career, I've met amazing people that have made the entire trip from the early 20s to hot 2000s
I
until
thought it was
now.
early, like 1920s. No, early your 20s, your 20s. Okay, I was scared for a moment, man. Okay.
No, but I've had a fantastic journey with the people that I've met and I've always met fantastic people in every single company that I've been with, fortunately. And it's a joy. And as I said, meeting people that have the front end passion, that share this passion for front end development like you, in a different, the passion is like you. They love something of it differently, maybe. But this, for me, is one of the things that makes me want to be a better front end developer and continue working on this.
True joy. It's a joy to work with you. So thank you for today.
No, thank you, Ricardo. It's always a pleasure to work with you as well. So, with that said, thank you very much, and we'd like to hear about you. What lights your front end fire? That's it.
See you in the next Frontend coffee break.
Bye bye.